So, Lieutenant, where exactly were you?
Well, thank you, started up on his 6 when he pulled through the clouds, and then I moved in above him.
Well, if you were directly above him, how could you see him?
Because I was inverted.
Bullshit. No, he was, man. It was a really great move.
Yo, 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 welcome back to... No, I'm not going to go with that. I'm not going to go with that. Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Beanbag Box Podcast.
Hello.
Darius
hello,
here.
Hello. Jongbin here.
And this week we're bringing you a review of Top Gun.
Boom.
And I failed to prepare again.
Boom.
We'll
Do you want me to
probably
vamp
restart
you?
this. No, we'll just restart over.
I can vamp you.
No.
I pulled it up. I can vamp you.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not vamping. Just do your job. Read the thing.
Fucking hell. Do your job.
Okay, I'm sorry. You know I take my business seriously.
I am taking it very seriously, as you can see.
Okay, let's see how seriously you take it when you read this.
Okay, so let me take you to the premises of this movie, yeah?
Okay. Go ahead.
For Lieutenant Pete Maverick Mitchell and his friend and co-pilot Nick Goose Brescio, being accepted into an elite training school for fighter pilots is a dream come true. A tragedy, as well as personal demons,
Why did you say it like
threaten Pete's dreams of becoming an ace pilot.
that? You just like slipped into like an Asian Bushido. A tragedy. Why'd you say it like that?
I did not say it like that.
You did say it like that.
No, I didn't. What the fuck was that?
Can you read it again but with an Asian accent this time?
For Lieutenant Pete.
Okay. We're gonna get canceled before we even get
You
going.
asked for it.
But so
If you
when did
ask
this
for
movie
it,
come
I'm
out?
gonna give it to you. It came out in 1986 and is directed by Tony Scott.
That was a good year, 1986.
Tony Scott.
I really feel like I would have thrived in the 80s.
Me too. Or mine would be 90s,
Mm.
but 80s would be still great.
Where would you want to live, though? Like, if you had to go back in time into the 90s.
Definitely not LA.
Mm.
Remember the riot?
I said, where do you want to live? Not where you not want to live.
I would go to like Seattle.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be a part of the grunge scene?
Pacific Northwest
Mm-hmm.
would be great. Yeah. Go into like a rock scene, grunge scene.
Mm.
Look
I'm
at
going
all
to
this.
Japan.
Of
Put me
course.
in 80s Japan. Oh,
Of course
my
you are.
God. I'll be the only black guy. It'll be the best. I'm daydreaming about it right now. Anyway, okay, back to the movie. So you have Tom Cruise as Maverick, who, first off, just let me outright say, I don't get what the hype about Tom Cruise is. I don't find him to be attractive at all. And his character in this movie is kind of a dick.
He is kind of a dick, but he's young.
Hmm.
He's passionate. He's quite arrogant, I would say. But he's very confident man.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that formed his personality.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess I should maybe it's a time period thing, because I was expecting. Now, I should start off by saying I've never seen this movie. I saw the new one, and then I hadn't seen this one, so I feel like it was a good thing that we watched it. But I was expecting. Usually, when you watch movies, older movies like this, they kind of have like this charm. It's like innocent charm where it's like, oh, they did that, but they didn't know better, you know? That's just how things were back then. I feel like even back then, the character Maverick was like unacceptable.
No, if you watch the other like 80s blockbuster movies, that's quite like, you know, good. Like, not good, but average character trait, I would say.
Well, being like a fucking dingleberry,
Yeah,
I guess.
being a dingleberry.
And that's the other thing too. Pilots in general aren't like that. They're not like cool guys like running around with their shirts off. Maybe they were in the 80s, but any pilots I've interacted with, is
Yeah.
not like that. They're like the dorkiest of all
Yeah.
dorks. You might have like one or two guys that are like obviously like cool and confident, but everybody else is like push their glasses up on their face, like dork guys.
Yeah,
They're really smart. You have to be really smart to be a pilot. And those being smart and being cool don't typically like go hand in hand. So I don't know where they got the inspiration for these characters for this movie.
Well, first of all, it's movie.
I guess.
They have to have like good-looking people to attract the audiences.
And, you know,
People like me.
I'm gonna be critical of. Anyway, let's break down the plot. So in the beginning, they run into these like MiGs or whatever, and which aren't actually MiGs. I think they're like
F4?
F4s or
Yeah.
something. But one thing that is cool about this movie, and I will give it props for, and a lot of movies from this era kind of stand up, is they do a lot of practical effects. So they like really stand up. Like they were actually in fighter planes. Like when you see the characters like talking in the cockpit.
Yeah, of course.
And like there was a lot of scenes that were shot of like actual jets doing maneuvers, and that stuff holds up really well. It doesn't look really old. You know what I mean? So I appreciate
agree,
that.
yeah, because like I watched this movie at least 10 times because it's on like every movie channel in Korea around Chuseok, like Korean version of Thanksgiving. And every time I watch the movie, the action scene is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that stands up. So they're doing this dogfight with MiGs, which, by the way, I feel like that should have started like World War III right there. Like these
You think
Soviet
so?
jets, like being aggressive towards these, and I wonder how often that actually happens. Like in the beginning, there's no shots fired, so I guess that wouldn't be grounds to start a war.
Yeah.
But we'll cut to in the end when they're fighting them. That is a declaration of war. Once you like fire on enemy aircraft, like
Well, they fire first.
who?
The enemies.
That's what I'm saying. That's a declaration of war. So we see in the end of the movie like the start of World War III or like the end of the Cold War. But anyway,
Damn.
so they get into trouble because freaking Tom Cruise's character is just an asshole, and they were like, land the jet, and he's like, nah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, they were like, your plane is kind of low on fuel. Fucking land. And Tom Cruise was like, nah, I'm gonna go out and help them.
Which I guess, but it's like, how much help can you really be? Like, you're in a jet.
Well,
He's
we
gonna fly
fly
next to the guy?
together, fly like side by side with the one guy. What's his name?
I can't remember what his name was, but he turned out to like crack under the pressure of encountering the enemy, and that's what allows Maverick and Goose to go to Top Gun, because they weren't supposed to go. But
Yeah.
the guy that was supposed to go, who was supposed to be the best fighter pilot in the Navy, has one combat interaction, not even actual combat,
Yeah.
and like completely spazzes
Yeah,
out.
fucking
So now
froze up.
Maverick gets to go to Top Gun, which is in San Diego, which
Miramar.
that is a real thing. The Top Gun school. I don't think it's still there in San Diego and Miramar, but that's a real thing. It's a real base. I've been there. You know,
Miramar's a real
just,
thing.
Sprinkle a little bit of like, gee whiz, I've been there. But yeah. So they get to go do Top Gun training. Their first day there, Maverick sexually assaults a woman in the bathroom. Would that go down as sexual assault? What would you categorize? Like, if someone did that to you, if you were just like out there minding your own business, and you go into the girls' bathroom, and a guy just walks in and is just like, let me rizz you up, girl.
Yeah, I would have proper kicked him in the dick, but we don't know what happened.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I try not to look back on movies like from different eras and apply modern day like standards.
Oh,
But
yeah, you
I
can't
feel
do
like
that.
even in the 80s, that would have been unacceptable.
You can't do
Like,
that.
The girl's not into you. She turns out to be his like one of his trainers, and he just like won't drop it. But I guess that was like a thing back in the day. It's like, if you really are into someone, you should just like keep going and going, and just don't take no for an answer.
That's gross.
That's another thing about this movie. It's kind of about, jet fighters and fighter pilots, but it's really like a love movie. Like a solid third of the movie is like this love story between him and the what was the woman's name? Do you remember?
Fuck.
Whatever her name was. She was I think Charlie was like her call sign. And I think that might have been what he called her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like plain scientist, smart lady. That whole thing was weird. And then the way they keep having like this like touch and go, like will they, won't they thing.
I
was
mean, they're young. Young people do that.
I guess I came here to see some people blowing up people in the sky, and not like Tom Cruise like applying on a thick layer of like
No,
Riz juice
this
on
whole
lady.
movie is not about the plane or jet or anything. I think this movie is about like young people, young passionate people.
Mm-hmm.
Love, fucking, patriotism. This movie is so patriotic. Like, you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically just, and you can kind of tell from how much interaction that they had or cooperation they had from the Navy to let them like film as much like real life action as they did.
I
This
know.
is one big, it's one big advertisement.
I know. I
It's
was just
like,
gonna
this
say.
is the awesome life you can live as a fighter pilot.
Did I watch a movie? Did I watch an advertisement?
Yeah. I mean, because the story is almost non-existent. Like, these two
That's
guys.
not true.
No. These two guys keep failing upwards. Everything they do in the movie, they fail at. And he keeps getting like rewarded for it.
Yeah, because he might be failing as score-wise, but he's good and he has some genius tendency.
Yeah, I mean, from what my dad used to say, the sun shines on the dog's ass like twice a day. Like, yeah, if you're up there and you're doing something good's gonna happen eventually. But think about all the people he put in danger the entire time.
That's what Iceman say.
Yeah, I'm Team Iceman.
Are you?
Yeah. The question comes up like, who's the better fighter pilot? It's Iceman.
Yeah,
It's
are
not
you?
even close.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you have to like compare him and Maverick. No, I still think Maverick is the best.
Why?
Because he's like confident. He's like wild card.
And that's a good thing?
He knows how to like solve the problem.
No, he creates problems. Every problem that he had in the movie, he created for himself.
No, he's also like solved it with the like creative way.
Okay. We're not going to see eye to eye on this. I just think, and I even wrote it down in my movie notes. Here, this is exactly what I wrote. Tom Cruise kind of sucks at acting, and his character is so unlikable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Maybe it's because it was like earlier
Oh,
on in his career.
wow.
But he's like such a cheeseball in this movie.
But he acts like 80s movie star, though.
I guess, but he's just like so like.
He's
It's that,
supposed
like,
to be like that.
It's that level of confidence where, like I said, he's failing upward.
God.
Everything around him, he's fucking up constantly. But he's like so confident that everybody around him is like, that guy's got a good head on his shoulders. Send him to Top Gun. He just freaking disobeyed a direct order from his freaking, the captain of his ship. And
Yeah.
he got rewarded for it. He goes in and he goes below the hard deck when he's doing the training with Jester. And they're like, ugh. I just want to be mad at you, but you're just so charming. Tom Cruise, I just can't. I'll give this guy a promotion. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, it's Tom Cruise.
One
So
thing
cute.
I was surprised about. Okay, well, before we get to that, you have the gratuitous and the infamous, like, volleyball scene where everybody's, like, playing volleyball. I don't know what that was about.
It's, summer, young man just getting together, take their shirt off, playing beach volleyball.
That is something that would never happen. But I guess. Sure. I guess that was for the ladies. I guess the idea is that, like, oh, these guys drag their girlfriends to the movie theater. You got to give them something for the ladies. You know what I mean?
Bunch of young men just gather up.
It's also funny in that scene because you can see how short Tom Cruise is.
I know.
And, like, every shot is, like, shot to, like, make him not seem that short.
Nah, we could tell.
Yeah.
We could tell.
I think he's even shorter than his co-star.
We could definitely
How
tell.
tall is Tom Cruise?
He's gotta be like similar as me.
Like
He's quite
5'6"
short.
or something?
Kinda.
Not saying there's anything wrong with being short, but I think his ego
King.
can't handle it. Because I think he's like known in Hollywood for like in his movies, they are all shot in a way that doesn't highlight his height. He's never like next to somebody in a situation where you can clearly see like how short he is.
I mean, him being short doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying it doesn't. It only matters because he makes it a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it like the secrets got out. I mean, don't get me started on the fact that he's a Scientologist. So already I'm like anti Tom Cruise.
Really?
He's
But
like
he
the
has-
Scientologist.
He's like such a good looking.
You
and,
think
like,
he's really good looking?
he has like big dick energy?
No, he doesn't.
He does though.
In what universe?
He does though.
No, he's the he's doing all this crazy stunts and everything for the makeup for the fact that he doesn't have a big dick. Why are you even talking about this? I don't want to talk about Tom
I'm
Cruise's
gonna
dick.
tell Tom Cruise that.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell him that.
I'm just saying, you don't like do all the crazy stuff, and because you got to get the chicks somehow. So you can get the chicks by impressing them with like your stunts and your money, or you could just be naturally swagged up like me. Anyway, so moving. Are you done? Anyway, so then we get to the gratuitous sex scene with Tom Cruise and do you have it? What's that the co-star's name? I feel bad for not saying it.
I'll tell you right now.
Okay, but yes, we have the gratuitous and extremely long and cringy sex scene where it's like shot in
Actually, never
slow-mo.
mind. I can't tell you.
Why not?
It's just
Just
a
Google
main
Top
act-
Gun.
Fucking hell! All right.
What do you know how to jump in this Googling looking for shit? Jump in this Googling, I hope she finds it. Jump in this Googling
Oh, shit.
looking for
I'm
shit.
trying to find it.
Jump in this
Just shut up.
Googling. Jump in this Googling. Did you find it?
Her name is Charlotte,
Uh-huh.
and I guess call sign is Charlie.
What's her actual name? Like the actress?
Kelly McGillis.
Kelly McGillis? I don't know who that is. Is she in other stuff?
Let's see. She was in the movie called Witness, The Accused, Cat Chaser, The Monkey's Mask.
These are all like 80s and 90s movies, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Did she
Some of
come
them
back
are
from
in-
Maverick? Was that her?
No.
It was a different actor?
Dude.
What?
The girl that he was in love with?
Yeah, the one that went and bought the bar and then he like ended up sneaking into her house. Who was that?
Boy, that is so not her. That's fucking, girl from fucking... Talking your child. What was it called?
I don't know.
You would know.
Why would I know? So they just like did a straight up like swap and didn't even acknowledge it?
I think so.
Huh. But anyway,
Jennifer Connelly.
I don't know who that is.
Penny Benjamin.
So she plays a completely different person?
Dude, Penny Benjamin. Did you not watch the movie?
No, what is that?
We gotta watch the movie again.
A movie called
clearly.
Penny Benjamin?
No, in the movie,
Uh-huh.
the Goose and the Maverick talk about Penny Benjamin.
Oh. So that's the Admiral's daughter that he like
Yeah,
hooked up with.
yeah.
And she just happened to buy the bar. No, that makes the movie like that much more weirder to me. But anyway, back to the original, the OG Top Gun.
Okay.
Why did they feel the need to even put this scene in there?
The tongue made me so uncomfortable.
You're the one that's so into the freaking Tom Cruise. I would have thought you would have been fucking.
I mean, yes, I am very into Tom Cruise, but not that tongue motion. What the fuck was that? That was absolutely fucking cringy and uncomfortable. I was watching with you and I felt fucking uncomfortable. His tongue was just like a fucking all up on her. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's
definitely was
cringy.
unnecessary. I don't know where they're going with that.
I know in 80s that's like fucking romantic or whatnot, but nowadays, just no.
I'm wondering if it's like, there's such sexual tension, which for me, I don't feel like they had that much chemistry.
Really?
Yeah.
They're cute.
I guess so they had like so much tension that when it finally happens, it's just like
They're cute
and,
together.
like, fireworks and everything. But like I don't know, and they kept like running. That's what I'm saying. This movie is mostly them. Like they just kept running into each other in awkward situations. Tom Cruise would just stare at her and not say anything.
I know,
And then
ew.
she'd just be like, "Oh my God, Tom or Mav, we can't, but we must." And then she was like, "I don't want them to know that I've fallen for you." And it's like, oh my God, my eyes almost got stuck in the back of my head when I saw that shit.
Yeah.
But then after that, we finally get back to some more action, and this is where, like, I would say, like the climax of the movie when they're doing their final. This is like the final chance for Mav and Goose to beat Iceman and his co-pilot and the Top Gun. They just need these points, and they're trying to like maneuver. They're working together as wingmen, and Iceman can't take the shot for whatever reason. So then Mav and Goose make a maneuver to try to take the shot, and they get caught up in the
Jet wash.
the jet wash, and lose control of the jet. Which, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, okay, not only is they lose like a multi-million-dollar jet, but Goose dies in this accident where he ejects and then like hits the canopy of the jet on when he's trying to eject, and I get dies, and Maverick gets rewarded for it. Like, of course, it's not his fault, but it's like, it's
At
just a
least he should
comedy of
be, like,
errors.
excluded
Or
from
you-
the academy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's obviously is shaken up and guilt ridden over it, and but maybe that's part of what they were going for. And the theme of the movie is like this redemption path of like you're coming back from failure. But it's like he should have never been in that situation because he already proven that he couldn't be trusted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he should have the first time he broke the hard deck, he should have been like out of there. I don't know, but I mean, all of his shenanigans result in the death of his best friend, which is even more like fucked up because that's like his wife and his kid just showed up. Like I guess the day before. The timeline in the movie kind of really isn't explained that well.
It should
like,
be
it-
like a week before or so.
Yeah, it just kind of like flies through all
Yeah.
of these things. There's like no timeline, and then after Mav gets shaken up over this incident of Goose dying, which this, if you look at the characters of Maverick and Goose, Goose is way more likable. And
Very true.
Much more. I almost kind of wish Goose would have been the main character, and Iceman could have been replaced with Mav, and Goose could have just been like this like good guy trying to like do his thing, and Mav is like this fucking renegade psychopath that's like doing whatever. And then
He's not a psychopath.
the story could have been like, oh well, instead of just like being a rebel and renegade, yeah, it's cool for a moment, but if you do what you're supposed to do, things work out. But no, the theme ends up being, yeah, just do whatever the fuck you want, and it might just happen to work out for you.
Because it's all about young, being passionate, chasing your dreams.
I guess maybe the older I get, the more I'm like, just sit your ass down somewhere.
Yeah, you sound like an old man.
Maybe I am. But yeah, I mean, R.I.P. Goose. Big ups to the big G. He's gone, and then Mav has to re-find himself. He gets the shakies. I don't know what you want to call him. He's like,
Shakies.
he can't perform under pressure.
I would call it panic attack.
Mm.
More like panic attack.
What do you
rather
think
than
of?
shakies?
First off, shout out to Michael Ironside. I really like Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
I love him in Starship Troopers. So
Is that Jester guy?
yeah, Jester.
Yeah.
He's like so like he plays like the same character in every movie.
Yeah. It's quite
But
cool.
I really liked him. And then you have the Viper, who is like the commander of the Top Gun school, and he ends up being kind of being like the mentor father figure for Mav since his father died. And Viper is based. I don't know if I want to say based, but Viper is a real person. The actual pilot that was, I think, like one Top Gun the first time. So he was like the consultant for this movie.
Yeah, of course.
And he was the one telling them when they were making the movie, like, all this stuff you guys are doing is like super inaccurate. Like, we would never do any of this. I don't know where this is coming from, but so
it gets made anyway.
yeah, I mean, because it's made for it's made for entertainment
audiences.
value.
Yeah,
Nobody
now
wants
for
to see a,
fucking jet otakus.
yeah, nobody wants to see a bunch of pilots just doing like a debrief and then going home.
Yeah.
They want to see them standing around and arguing in the shower in their towels.
Yeah.
Which, okay. I kind of like the character Viper. Like he was a good father figure. I didn't understand where he like divulged the super classified information to Mav. He might have just made that shit up. Because you know how like Mav doesn't know what happened to his father. Nobody does because it's like so classified. And then the thing that like helped him recover from his incident was this guy like pulling him to the side and just being like, "Look, your father was one of the best, and he did this thing." He probably just made that whole shit up just to get like Mav to like get his shit together.
And he like wake the fuck up and fuck them all up.
Yeah.
Fuck all the enemies up. By the way, can I just mention the constant reoccurrence of soundtracks?
Oh yeah, that I didn't.
Can I just talk about that?
They had like 3 songs and they just like.
I know.
What was the one whenever like they're having like a romantic moment?
Take my breath.
Yeah, and it would like slowly like fade in. I was like, oh my god.
They played all kinds of version. Like first, like from the front part, like second only their part, or like the other time it would be only just like instrumental. They play all kinds of version of that.
Yeah, they got their money's worth. You gotta give them
Yeah, and the other song.
Yeah, anytime something's about to happen.
Danger zone.
That's not how it goes.
Goddamn danger zone. From like the opening sequence of the movie, they use the music, and then they like constantly use it every time they film action scene.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like they got their money's worth. It's better than when we watched Bloodsport, where they made their full own original soundtrack.
Yeah,
and it's like, holy shit, that was bad. Like every scene, every like big moment had its own original song made for it. Which, say what you will about that, it's kind of cheesy. But so yeah, eventually Mav like gets back in the saddle and graduates Top Gun. He like swallows his pride for losing the Iceman, and at their graduation they get orders. And it's like the movie goes from like 0 to 100. Like,
I know.
It goes from like
really quick.
It's like this downward trajectory of the movie. It's coming towards the end, and boom, send these guys to like this deployment on this
at
this
the
boat.
graduation. They're like, "Gentlemen, gather up. You guys are on order to go."
And then they end up in this confrontation with these MiGs again. Which, again, like I was saying earlier, it's like this could never happen. This is like the start of a war.
Yeah,
and they're supposed to be escorting some other boat, I think, and these jet fighters just start attacking them out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and it's where Maverick first he's like they have him on alert, so he doesn't even go up at first. And then when one of the other fighters on his squad or whatever gets like shot at, he like takes off and he goes up there and does his thing.
Yeah,
whatever. It's like this whole redemption moment. I'm just like glazing over this because it's like so like it just was so jarring to go from nothing to like 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds.
but you know what though?
What?
Like when I watched this movie when I was young, that scene was so like felt so intense. And so dangerous. Like, holy shit. This is the crisis. But now that I look at it, after fucking grown up or whatnot, it's just too, like, it's 0 to 100 really quick.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching as a child, you don't have a concept of like how story progression should go and like what is. It's like all you care about is action scenes, and that's what I was saying about this movie. It's like it's really about the action scenes. I feel like it was too expensive to fill so much action scenes, and they were just like, we got to find something to fill in this, like the fluff, because it's very obvious that the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie were all shot at the same time.
Yeah,
and there's like we got to fill up this other 45 minutes.
Yeah, like
let's send them to like this Top Gun school or whatever.
Yeah.
But Maverick earns his stripes. He takes down some of the fighter jets. He saves Iceman, and then they become like fast bros.
Not only Iceman, he also saved like Hollywood. No.
Oh yeah. He saves everybody pretty much, and he's like heralded as like a hero. And then he gets to pick his next assignment, and he becomes, or he says he's going to become an instructor at Top Gun, which could only end in catastrophe. I can't imagine. Like, we get to see kind of how it would have went in the new movie Maverick, but you got to imagine that's 30 years of experience. Let's just say for this imaginary character. The Maverick in that movie, if he would have became like an instructor at Top Gun, people would have been dropping out of the sky left and right.
Yeah.
He would have been trying to show off, not letting the students like catch him and fucking flew a jet into the side of a mountain or something.
No, he's grown up. He wouldn't let him do that.
You think he could have been like a grizzled vet. He's like, you guys don't know what combat is. I've seen true combat. He could have just been like, and all the students were looking at him like, what the fuck?
He should have been like, well, I've done this stupid shit like you've did. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Could be that type of instructor.
I'm looking at my notes that I have, so I want to make sure I cover everything.
Yeah.
So the next note that I have is one black guy in the whole movie. Which is true. I was on the lookout for this.
What was his name?
Not
Sundown?
Yes, Sundown. Not even like anybody in the background. It's literally one black guy in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which, I won't say any more
It's
than
80s.
that. There was just one guy, and he was obviously the token black guy. But anyway, what else do I have over here?
It is 80s. And guess what?
What?
He didn't die.
Yeah, well, it probably was in his contract.
He's not the first person to die, so.
Yeah. Well, I'll give him that. They at least had the decency. And then the next thing I wrote was super juicy. And I think that comes down from...
Super
Yeah.
juicy?
Yeah, so when we were watching it, remember, you're like, why are these guys always so sweaty and juiced
Oh,
up?
yeah.
And I
They
was
were like
I gotta
listening.
remember this. It's super juicy. Yeah. It's like before every scene, they were like sprayed with some... Now, San Diego in the summer is hot. So maybe that has something to do with
And
it.
they're wearing like long sleeve uniforms.
Yeah, but they're always like dripping.
Yeah, they are quite sweaty.
Yeah.
Man. Sweating, passionate young man.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to, project.
Yeah, so those are all the notes I had. Top Gun 1986 is a good movie. I wouldn't say it's bad.
You're not going to change my mind. Like, growing up, when I was young, like teenager, that movie was so awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say out of 5 MiG 28s, how many MiGs are you giving this movie?
What about F-14s?
Okay. How many F-14s are you giving this out of 5?
Because of all the action scene, jet scene, that was shot in 86, maybe 85. I would give 5 F-14s.
5 F-14s.
Yes. Plus, I really like Tom Cruise, and we could see young Val Kilmer, and Goose was really adorable too. I really like the whole character, whole movie. I just like the vibe, and plus, jets. You can see a lot of jets. How exciting is that?
I don't know. After being in the Air Force, I kind of lost my infatuation with jets. But okay, so out of 5, I'm gonna give this 4.5 F-14s. Just because, and the only real detractor, like I said before, I'm trying my best not to look back at older movies and apply my modern sensibilities. But the love story arc was just a step too far for me. Like if it would have been just something simple like, because you know how in the end of the movie when Goose is like, or after Goose is dead and Mav is like at his lowest and she's like trying to pep talk him. It could have just been something as simple as like before he goes up on his final mission or whatever, he like finds her and they like make out, and that could have been it. But instead, now they have to have like this insanely long sex scene.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is a porno. This whole movie is like a plot of a porno. And I was like, what the fuck? But anyway, I'm going to give it 4.5 because I really appreciate the practical effects. I really appreciate the work that it must have taken in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like what kind of camera equipment, like whatever they had to do to get those shots, it was incredible. The story takes a little hit for me.
Still feels like advertisement.
Yeah. I mean, and I would be surprised if like in commissions and people trying to become fighter pilots didn't spike in the like 90s
Yeah.
from this movie. But
Wouldn't be surprised. It's so like patriotic.
Yeah, which I don't think there's anything wrong with patriotic. You just come from a country where it's like not cool to be patriotic.
I guess.
But this is America.
Like I rarely see those type of military patriotic movies in Korea.
Well, it's because everybody has to do it. At least all the men. So
yeah,
there's like
true.
there's no pride to go along with it. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of fact.
Like what you have to do. That's valid.
Yeah. I mean, which you think would be the opposite. Like if every man has to serve their country, you think there would be a certain sense of pride automatically, but it's opposite. People are like actively like avoiding it and trying not to do it.
We don't really have that type of movie, I would say.
But yeah. So yeah, that's our review of Top Gun, 1986's Top Gun. Make sure you guys go out there and check it out. All right.
Woohoo!
Moving on to our new segment called, what are we gonna call it? Just what we've been doing?
What we've been doing.
No,
What we've been
we're not gonna do
doing.
that. But so
Let me tell you.
we've seen. We went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine last week.
Woohoo! Bye bye bye.
What did you think about that? Spoiler free. Just give like an overall.
Of course. It just came out literally. I would say I super loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know what I can say without spoiling, though.
You could just say what you liked and what you didn't like.
I liked everything pretty much. Just go watch it. Action scene is great.
Okay, so you'll say it's worth going to see in the theaters.
Definitely. Action scene is great. Fucking Hugh Jackman is really ripped. Yes.
Okay, well, I'll give you my analysis, an actual analysis.
Okay.
I thought, so first off, this is not, if you're looking for like the resurrection of the MCU, this is not that.
Oh yeah, not at all.
And I don't think it's meant to be that. I keep hearing this like commentary about people that are upset that they didn't do enough with the MCU or they didn't, correct all the wrongs of the MCU. And it's like, I don't think you guys are paying attention to the movie because it's very obvious in the movie that the point of this is not to do anything with the MCU.
Yeah.
They're actively talking shit about it in the movie.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I was kind of getting like, Ryan Reynolds kind of annoys me a little bit because he's so Ryan Reynolds in everything he does. This like smart
like he
ass,
plays
like,
the same
alecky.
thing.
Yes, but it works really well with Deadpool. Like the problem is like he's trying to, and everything else I've seen him in, he's like doing the Deadpool thing in situations that don't call for that. So like all those Netflix movies that he put out, like The Hitman's Bodyguard and this and that, and it's like he's just being Deadpool. But when he's actually being Deadpool, it fits really well. And I will say they have like no, and this isn't a knock, they have no reverence for anything Marvel or MCU. Like everything is fair game. And they definitely do that in the movie. Like they make fun of everything. The cameos and the fighting scenes are like top notch. The cameos, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was I felt so bad because I was laughing so hard in the theater. And it wasn't like that regular laugh. It was like the black ignorant laugh, just like wheezing laughing. And I was like, this is probably the best movie I've seen.
I'm going to say this. I feel so bad for Korean people who didn't get any of those references.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. It's getting bad reviews in Korea.
Yeah.
But I think it's because, like we mentioned before, I don't think Korean people, I think a lot of the jokes are lost on.
Yeah. There ain't no way they get the joke. There's especially one containing accents.
Oh, yeah.
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 They definitely not gonna get that. And there's like some jokes about all superheroes. Well, they're not gonna get that.
Yeah. The only knock, I wouldn't even call it a knock, but the only thing I would say about this movie is like the story kind of isn't. It's a story and it's serviceable, but it's not really what you're there for. You're kind of like, you're there to just see Hugh Jackman be Wolverine, and you're there to see, Deadpool. Like, it could have been any story, and as long as it's those two guys, I would have watched it.
Me too.
The opening scene alone is worth going to see the fucking movie. Like, I won't spoil it, but please do yourself a favor. If you're gonna see any movie this summer, go see Deadpool and Wolverine. This is not a paid advertisement.
Yeah,
but
definitely
it's very
go
rare.
See. We do not have any paid advertisement. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
It's very rare that a movie that's genuinely fun
Yeah.
comes out.
So funny.
So speaking about movies in the movie theaters, are there any other movies that you're looking forward to coming out soon?
I was actually gonna go see Ponyo today
Ponyo.
because Ghibli has released Ponyo starting today.
Okay.
And today was the day they released the Japanese version instead of dub version. Tomorrow's gonna be just dub version.
I've never seen Ponyo.
Should come and watch it with me.
Well, I won't be able to, but what about like new movies? Are there any new movies that you're looking forward to?
Not really. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in Long Legs. Kinda.
Why? You don't even like scary movies.
I really don't like scary movie, but Nicolas Cage, isn't it?
What is this Nicolas Cage phenomenon? Like, some people really, really love him, and some people really hate him and think he's like so bad.
Yeah, I think that's been going on forever. Like, that's because of his like acting method.
He's like overacting everything.
Yeah, very. I don't think he does like method acting. He does more like theatrical acting. And some people really, really like that. Some people really don't. I personally fucking love it. I'm a big fan of his works. So I might go watch it, but I really, really don't like horror movie or scary movie, any thriller movie whatsoever. So I can't really make up my mind. But I saw the trailer a bunch of times. Every time I went to the theater. It looks great.
I didn't think it looked good at all. It's like the trailer doesn't give you anything to work with. It's too like abstract for me. Now, I hate when movie trailers like give away the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
But I need to at least know what is the thread. Like, what am I going to see? Like,
That's
just
what you're
some
gonna
lady,
find
like, going
out.
crazy. Is this an A24 movie?
Yeah.
See,
I think so.
A24 is like so like they do that with a lot of their movies and trailers.
I fucking love
It's like you're not gonna
A24.
know what it is until you're like sitting in a theater watching.
Don't you ever
it.
talk shit.
I'm not talking. I like A24. Like, that's some of my favorite horror movies, but they try so hard to be like different that sometimes it's like it's hard to get people like me to go see them. It's like I need to know what I'm going to go see before I go see. I don't just go see movies just to see movies. Maybe I should kind of do that, but they're too expensive now. Like, it's too expensive to go see a movie and not know what I'm getting myself into.
But I'll still go for the sake of experiencing.
I will only go if it's something I know I'm gonna like.
Even if I don't like, I'll just go see it.
This too
Because I genuinely like movie theaters.
Yeah, but I don't like them $50 that enough. I'm not spend $50 to see something I might not even like. I'll be fucking pissed. And that's just $50 for like the tickets. Then you got to get your freaking snacks and stuff. It's like you must be smoking crack.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
I respect your opinion.
I am looking forward to Alien Romulus.
Boo.
You're not gonna go see it with me?
Nope.
Why not?
Because it's gross. I saw the trailer and there's like baby face huggers and shit.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It's
Disgusting.
Now, this is gonna be one of those things where it's either so good or I will write a strongly worded letter to the director. Because Alien is like one of my favorite IPs, and it's so rare that we get a new movie. It's like, do not drop the ball on this. From the trailers, it looks amazing. It's got the aesthetic. One thing I don't like is like they keep trying to like reinvent Ripley. I guess that's kind of like, I think that these directors think that that's what the spirit of Alien is, like the strong female character. Because they did that in Covenant. They did that in Prometheus. They keep trying to put these analogs in for the character of Ripley, which fine, if that's what it's going to be, that's what it's going to be. But you got a lot to live up to. Like Sigourney Weaver was like so perfect in that role.
The
that-
badass.
yeah, anyone that you try to put up there to elevate to that status, she's got to knock it out of the park. And from the trailers, it looks like they're going in the right direction for me. You're saying it's like too gory and everything, but for me, Alien, if it's not gory, I don't want to see it. I want to see spines getting ripped out.
I
want to see
gory
rib cages
movies.
exploding. I want to see brain matter just everywhere.
God.
That's what Alien, because it's only scary. The things that makes it scary, and this is why I don't like psychological horror movies, because they're not scary to me. The thing that makes something scary is the threat of getting your pelvis annihilated out of your body and then ripped in half. And it's like, these are the highest possible stakes, and you only get one shot. You either kill the alien or it kills you. So I will be front and center for that movie. If you guys want to hear a review or analysis, let me know.
Question:
Go
is
ahead.
Ridley Scott involved in any way?
I think he's producing it.
Ooh.
And then the guy that's directing it made one of the Evil Dead films, I believe.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Quite like the original.
yeah. But Ridley Scott also produced the Prometheus and Covenant, and those.
I like Prometheus.
I liked it too, and people didn't like it because people thought that it was too heavy-handed in like the origin story aspect of like who the creators were.
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard that originally the story was supposed to be very blatant that Jesus was actually an alien.
Oh.
And like the stories from the
What?
Bibles were analogs of these aliens that came down to Earth and like started the human race.
I see.
So it seems like they had, because that theme is still in there. But
Mhm.
I guess in the original script it was supposed to be Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
So obviously they toned that down to be just like these
Human.
aliens.
Yeah, those alien
Yeah.
beings.
But I liked it, and I liked Covenant. But maybe I'm just a sucker for anything in this universe. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. I hope it's great. I think that's like not next week, but the week after that comes out. I'm so excited. I rarely buy tickets ahead of time, but I might get my tickets so I can get a good seat. But what about?
I don't know. You might have to go watch by yourself.
I will go watch by myself. My own personal Darius date. I'm gonna treat myself. I might go get my pedicure or something. Get my
Pedicure?
haircut, and I'm gonna go see Aliens.
You should do that.
Yeah. Actually,
Definitely.
yeah.
I encourage it.
One of my coworkers wanted to go with me, so we'll see. But
Is that a girl?
no, it's not. What kind of? Why is that your first question?
Okay. Anyway.
Any? What about TV shows or video games or anything you're looking forward to? Anything coming out? You don't even keep up with TV shows, do you?
I really don't.
When's the last time you even watched a TV show
I really don't.
that I didn't suggest? We need to finish The Sympathizer.
We really need to
that's a
finish
really good show.
Sympathizer.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what happened to all of those people.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, Robert Downey Jr. is brilliant.
Yeah, he's really good in that. Well, you know what, listeners? Do us a favor and send us some TV shows that we should be checking out.
Yeah.
And not Yellowstone, not the big obvious ones. We kind of like the low-key things people might not have heard about. If you guys send us some suggestions, we'll make sure we watch them and do some episodes.
I really like cult classics, so if you guys suggest me cult classics.
There's a lot of shows we can go back and watch, like retroactively. I wish we could do a series on The Walking Dead. One of my favorite shows up until my dude Glenn, R.I.P. I had to stop after that.
Who's Glenn? Stephen Young?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Moment of silence. I'm so fucking pissed off about that. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Please be sure to check out our Instagram, the_bean_bag_box. That's the only name we can get. I'm sorry. Or if you guys want to send us some questions or some suggestions, you can reach out to us at thebeanbagboxpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Jumbin, did you have any closing notes, anything you wanted to say to the listeners?
We love you.
Well, that's very
Thank you so much for listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
I know every time, every episode
Are you
is
high? Are you
quite
high right now?
no, it's
Oh.
quite all over the place. But we really appreciate it. We love you. Sincerely love you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, love is a strong word, but we definitely appreciate you guys listening.
Wow.
Thank you for hanging out with us and just listening to our rambling and our bullshit. We'll be back next week with another episode. Check out our Instagram for the poll where we put up the options.
Yay.
And if you guys don't vote, then we're going to pick. And it's going to be Starship Troopers. So,
Is it?
if people don't vote. Anyway, peace out.
All right. Take it easy.